we install this home's radon mitigation system, we can do some diagnostics on the home to see how well our system will eventually communicate on the slab. This can help you determine before you do your installation what type of fan you need, and also potentially how many suction points you need, especially if there's separate footings around the basement that you're worried about communicating across. So with this home, we do have some different footings, and it's an older home, so we've got some concerns about communication. So Incenzio is going to start his shop vac over here and start at this where we're going to eventually locate our radon mitigation penetration point, and then we're going to drill some holes throughout the slab to do a communication test. Okay, we've got the shop vac set up to do communication testing. We have our pilot hole drilled right where we want our suction point, and we've got our pilot holes drilled around the basement to do our communication testing. So he's going to go ahead and turn the shop vac on. So the shop vac is now running, and we're going to put the shop vac on our pilot hole here, and this is going to be the center of our primary suction point right next to this plumbing here. And so now he's connected to that. We've gone over about 5 feet away from that suction point to do a communication test, and you can see we're going to have a pretty good draw here. It's a negative. Okay, there it goes. Negative 0.18. So that's a pretty good draw, and it should draw pretty well. It's so close to the suction point. We want to just make sure we're communicating on the other side of a small footing there. We're going to walk over to the other end of this area of the basement along an exterior wall footing and see if we're communicating the footings around the perimeter. And that's an important place to check, farthest away from your suction point, to see if you're communicating, and you can see that we are. So we know that we're getting a pretty good suction around the footings. It's not as good as the other suction point, mind you, but it's still a decent negative drawing of air down there. So now we're going to test near a plumbing stack that's connected underneath the concrete slab to our primary suction point to see if we're communicating over here. And wow, are we ever, 0.27 negative. So that's a really good communication across this whole slab. So we feel pretty confident that we're communicating in this area of the basement within the footings. Now you can see there's a brick wall right there. So on the other side of this wall, that's a big footing. And now we're over in another area of the basement that we're concerned if we're going to be able to communicate over here. So we're going to we drill the pilot hole along the footing, and we're going to do a communication test here. And as you can see from this reading, we're really not communicating over here. So logically, we're thinking, hey, we do need that extra suction point on the other side of this footing. And then that's where you would start your communication test again on this side of the footing. If it's a relatively low radon level, you may just start with one side and see where you get it to. Or you could tell the customer, hey, we do need that extra footing. So that's how you use this pressure field extension testing to determine your suction points.